It's pretty good. Thank you. So during the mid to late 1970s, I was a high school student in the Bronx, New York. And at that time, if you had clothing that were in style, like say there were some winter boots that they came into style, if they stayed in style, you just wore them straight through the summer. We didn't change with the seasons. We didn't have that kind of money. So you wore winter boots straight through the summer. So if you had some clothing that was in style through the summer, you wore it straight through the winter. There was a blizzard in 1977, and I remember walking to my girlfriend's house in a pair of fresh Pro-Keds. But just before I left my house, I made sure I cleaned them up real nice, and they were nice and fresh. And then I walked in the blizzard to her house. And when I got there, my sneakers were still fresh, but they were soaking wet, and my feet were wet and cold. And my mother used to say, you know, boy, you're gonna be fresh in the emergency room with tuberculosis or something if you keep that up. In 1979, I started my senior year of high school. And as we got into the winter, it started to rain, started to snow, and I just said to myself, you know, I'm sick and tired of my feet being wet and cold. I'm gonna finally listen to my mother. And I went to this Army and Navy store. It was a local Army and Navy store. And I went to the guy and I said, listen, man, I just want some boots that are gonna keep my feet warm and dry. He was like, dude, this is the Army and Navy store. He said, all we got is like work boots and stuff like that. I was like, man, I don't care. It's like I was taking the plunge. Give them to me, bring them. He brought them out. He said, these are gonna keep your feet warm and dry. I was like, man, I can't wear them big orange things. What are you talking about? He's like, man, he said warm and dry. I was like, okay, I bought them. And they were pretty expensive because they were work boots. This was 1979. They were $40. Yeah. Thank you. So the next day I went to school and I was still fresh. I had on my fresh quarter field coat, my mock turtleneck like I'm wearing now, right? I had on a fresh hat. I was fresh, but I had on these big orange boots. And I remember one of my classmates walked up to me. He was like, dude, what the fuck are those you wearing, man? I was like, yo, these are Timberlands, man. What you talking about? He's like, yeah, I know, man, but only like maintenance men and custodial workers wear shit like that. It's like, I know, man, but I'm tired of my feet being wet and cold, man. He's like, all right. And I went through the whole day and people were asking me, yo, man, what the fuck is this you doing? But see, I was a senior and I was pretty popular and I was known to dress fresh, so I didn't get too much flack, but it was just kind of strange. The next year I went to college and I came back during the holidays and I noticed more people were wearing these Timberlands. And I thought to myself, I was like, see, I wasn't the only one who wanted to keep my feet warm and dry. Everybody else got the same idea. So I wasn't as ridiculous as I thought. So in 2012, I moved here to Michigan, and I was in Detroit talking to one of my friends named Quentin, and I told him that. You know Quentin? I'm gonna tell him I saw you and shit. So I was talking to my friend Quentin, and I was telling him that story. He said, well, Maxie, have you ever thought about the idea that since prior to you walking into that Army and Navy store, you never saw nobody wearing those shoes other than maintenance men and custodial workers? You ever thought about the possibility that maybe you were the first guy you started wearing? I was like, hell no, get out of here, Quentin. Couldn't be. He said, well, somebody had to be the first one. I was like, yeah, but whatever. But after that was a few years ago. But after that, every time I saw someone in Timberlands, I was like, you think so? Maybe. Every single time. I was even watching a documentary on Showtime with the rapper DMX. He was on stage going, stop, drop, and he had on Timberlands. I was like, you think so? I mean, when you think about it, so many trends and styles come out of like African-American teenage circles. And not to mention that, like Quentin said, before I walked into the Army and Navy store, I've never seen anyone wear them other than maintenance men and custodial workers. So is it possible that some dude standing on stage in the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor, Michigan could be the guy that started that whole thing? Probably not.